Hey everyone, this is Cody from iRely, and I'm going to show you a few things that you could do today to help your 1099 process go better next year when you go through that. So the first thing we're going to want to do is make sure that our vendors are set up correctly. Then we want to verify that our vendors from our previous vouchers for that vendor are set up to have the 1099 amounts go towards the total amount that you're going to see on your report. I'm going to be doing this in 18.1, but for the most part, if you're on a different version, it should look very similar to this. So first thing we're going to do is be in the purchasing module and hit vendors. And from here, you can see I've got a vendor set up 1099 prep demo. And we're going to open that up. And we're immediately going to just go to the General tab. So from here, you can see this is where your 1099 information is stored, and we're going to make sure that we check mark it. That is very important that you check mark it, because even if you have this stuff set up and you don't have that check marked, it's not going to print a 1099 for that vendor. So the 1099 name is an optional field that allows you to say, okay, well, it's 1099 prep demo, but really I want the 1099 to print Cody Harris. Now, we're going to also go to the 1099 form here, where we can choose any of our supported 1099 forms. Let's go with miscellaneous, and we're going to choose the type. Now the type is actually just the box that is going to show up on the 1099. And so you could choose here, the most common is non-employee compensation. I believe that's box 7. And you're going to see it defaulting to that. And then we'll put in a tax ID. Now, all this information is just for defaulting. So if you do end up having to do a miscellaneous for this vendor and maybe an int for this vendor, you can also go into your vouchers later and fix those, and I can show you how to do that. So now that we feel like our vendor is good to go, and it's saved, so yep, we are good. We're going to go and test it and put in a voucher. Now this is also something you can do in 1099, or excuse me, in your 99 company, or if you're setting it up, you can later test and verify that it's going smoothly when you enter these vouchers. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to create a new voucher for my 1099 vendor, and that is prep demo, and we'll put in an invoice number, and we'll go ahead and here and put in some line items. So choose the account, and we can see once we get all the way to the right, it should show up all the way to the right. If you don't see these columns over here, you can right click and hit columns and then scroll through here and find the column that you're missing. For example, I could just do this net shipped weight, and I can check mark it and apply, and then that column will show up. So really what we are concerned about are these 3 columns to make sure they're correct, and it's going to go miscellaneous, non-employee compensation, and then the amount, which you could change to 800, say, for example, if only 800 of that line is 1099able, but we'll just leave it at 1,000. And then another thing you can do is go here and we'll put in another line. Now it's going to default it to my 1099 miscellaneous box 7 or non-employee compensation. I could choose a different box here. So one line goes to non-employee compensation and another one goes to excess golden. So what we're going to do, and we're going to save and post that. And we know here that it's showing up that it will print a 1099. Now, you might be wondering, okay, well, I just fixed it now. How are the vouchers looking for that vendor that were put in, this tax year, but they didn't have this set up? So what we're going to do is we'll go ahead and look at your 1099 prep demo. We can filter by this vendor name by dragging the vendor name up there, and you can see there's only 3 invoices out there, and one of them is the one we just put in, and 2 are ones that I put in before I fixed it. So one way to do this is to just go ahead and hit open, and you can go through and you can change it. Now, something I will say is that you'll notice that this is posted because I have the option to unpost, which means it is posted. Now, something I can do is it is editable for me to go in here and say miscellaneous. It's going to default to non-employee compensation because it knows, and then I can save this, and now we're going to have 1099 miscellaneous and 1099 employee compensation. So we would just go in here to this other one and make sure when we go all the way over here that we choose miscellaneous, and we've got non-employee compensation, so we'll hit save. Okay, so now those are good to go. We could take a look at another place to verify our data is correct. So we can go to Voucher Detail, and this is every line item for every invoice. And you can actually see these are the ones that we just put in. And what we can do is search by that vendor again, and you'll see the different lines. Now we can scroll over and find the 1099 form and 1099 category and then the 1099 amount. So this grid you could export and look at this. You might be dealing with more than 4 here, so that kind of helps. Another thing too that you might need to do is right click again and go to columns and find the 1099, 1099 form, and 1099 category columns. Check mark them, such as this BOL as an example, and hit apply, and that will show. So if you don't hit apply, it's not going to apply, and that is new to 18.1. So that's basically what you're going to want to do is make sure all your vendors are set up. There might be other questions, more specific scenarios, so feel free to email us at support@irely.com or put a help desk ticket in at helpdesk.irely.com. Thanks.